Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Justice's Waiting Room, a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. I'm your host. My name is Jared. You can find us right now on YouTube and Twitch. A little later than we normally start this morning, I pushed go live and it just spun. So, good morning, everybody. To my beautiful wife, Taylor, to all our friends that stop by every day to see us. Hope you had a great weekend. Slow moving today and not on purpose. So I'll both apologize and say, I pushed go live. It just sat there and looked at me for a second, like, you sure? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Push a button again. I'm like, oh. Every morning when we start our show, we listen to Edwin Starr's War. Good fun. Now, the show starts early in the morning. When I was on active duty in the Marine Corps, we had to wake up in the morning and go exercise. Frequently, that was a motivational run, and somebody was singing war. It's that easy. There's no other like hidden meaning. Listen to the words and lose their minds. Wow! Good God, yo! What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. All right, get me off the front page of Reddit. And my computer in is not computering like I want it to computer in. Noted. Noted. Multilateralism. We're today before we even look, yeah, we're gonna look up unilateralism. Okay. I think that if the world doesn't all get on the same page, we're all gonna die. Like way before we should. All of us. Completely dehydrated, blood sugar's low, shady little eggs for breakfast, Doritos for lunch. Hey, kids and adults. I'm glad Stacy's mom still got it going on, right? Um, Today we're learning about multilateralism. Okay, it was a geometry term. That's why I was like, "What? You mean geometry? Like many-sided?" Okay. Think of the UN. Think of NATO. Okay. These are examples of multilateralist organizations. So one of the things that's going to happen is the rest of the world is going to have to move on without the United States. This regime, G20 is a product of crisis. Taking care of your world partners and working with especially like bordering nations like Mexico and Canada, we ought to be like this because we are like this. You get what I'm saying? Um, those places are gonna have to take up rules that say majority wins, fuck the United States and Israel. One of the things that sticks out in my mind over the last years, I think it was in 2019, and it could have been sooner. The UN tried to make food a human right. And the only two states to vote against were Israel and the United States, and it didn't pass. And I think that a simple majority should be deciding things like that. Um, uh, the free access to food and water and shelter and all these things are just human rights. And the reason that we're not on that is so that we can continue to be expansionist and imperialist and continue to just bomb countries and take over. And again, understand that if we don't do something about the United States' relationship with Israel, we are going to be going right along with Israel as they continue to bomb their fucking neighbors and take their land. We have to be party to that, or we could just not. And that's my big thing. Here's the way I've worked in my life. We can be as good of friends as you want to be until you fuck up this much. You fuck up this much, it's over. You know why? I don't have time, money. And when I say fuck up, I'm talking about there are a handful of things you can do that's going to impact your relationship with other people. I'll give you a really good example. I rented a house with my three best friends for a year. Don't worry, it was a great time. I know everybody's like, oh God, I bet it was a horrible. No, 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 no. It was great. I had a ball. Okay. But one of my housemates had lost a relative, and instead of just taking a bottle of Jack into his room and just polishing off a bottle of Jack and passing out in his own bed, he checks notes, got in his car and went to the bar and got a fucking DUI on the way home, and it fucking ruined our friendship. He blamed me for this for some period. And frequently, he would go drive around at night and call me and ask me where I was and be like, "What? I don't understand." Again, there's a person on this earth that blames me for their poor decision making. Do you understand why you can't be friends with everyone forever now? Because sometimes people make really fucking bad decisions and it doesn't have anything to do with you, and years later, they still blame you. Do you understand? Do you understand why? You don't have to be friends with people forever. You fuck up, it's over. I'm not gonna fucking do that ever again. Here's great. You wanna hear a great story? And my wife knows this shit. My wife and I were getting close to my wife's mom, my mother-in-law. She's great. I love Kim, and she got a DUI. I can tell you that has impacted our relationship. Do you just see how it works? I want to be really close to people. I want to be really close to people. But then I find out that you're messaging minors and telling them nice tits. And you have minors that are children. Do you understand how it's problematic? I can't be friends with everybody. Because everybody makes some really bad decisions. And I have two choices. I can keep my mouth shut, or I could ruin some friendships. Do you see how it's hard to that you can't be just friends with everyone no matter what? I can't just be friends with you no matter what. You could really do something that would change how I feel about you and how I feel about our relationship. Not everything is forgivable. Do you understand how the United States can end its relationship with fucking Israel? Do you understand how just telling the truth about Israel is a really good way to distance yourself from it? Hey, Israel is not the Israel from the Bible. The Israel of today was founded in 1948 by David Ben-Gurion, who was then the head of the Jewish Agency, the same Jewish agency that offered a path home to any like young Jewish men that had committed sexual assault and rape over a period of like 30 fucking years. Those people were all able to leave the United States, go back to Israel, start their lives over without that rape hanging over their fucking head. And then now those people are in positions of power. They're committing a genocide in Gaza to stay in power, to continue to expand because they need investment. They need the U.S. military to invest in a military base near Tel Aviv. They need a big real estate developer to take a shot on Gaza. And they got a couple, don't they? Donald J. Trump, Leonardo DiCaprio. Hmm? If we don't do something, they get what they want. And ultimately, what it does allow all of these elected officials that let all this shit happen, it gives them a place to escape to that's heavily protected forever. Now, do I think this is a good idea? No. Do I think this is a terrible idea? Yes. Do I think that they are going to die? Yes. Do I think they're going to be the subject of terror attacks? Yes. Do I think that they will never be safe? Yes, I think they will never be safe if they are to do those things. Can you imagine getting bombed while you're golfing? Kind of raises the difficulty level of the game. Oh, he's got an upright 190-yard shot, but he can see the green, and oh, there's a C10 just dropped a 40-pound bunker buster right between him and the pin, and now there's a fucking 60-foot high crater in front of him, and he can no longer see the pin. It's obstructed. Oops, the shot went off the tall edge. Do you get it now? Do you get it now? I mean, think about this. Who said what? Blame to you? CPND. Okay. You want to hear a funny one about blame me? Uh, blame me. My parents got divorced on their 27th wedding anniversary. They asked me to drive from Lafayette to Plainfield, Indiana to go to Red Lobster. And my dad didn't even stay and eat dinner. He sat down. He and my he told us that we're getting a divorce, and my dad said, "And it's your fault. You're bad kids." And he got up and left. Meanwhile, I was a 3.86 GPA student in my second year at Purdue, studying flight with the intent of being an astronaut. It's my fault that you got a divorce. It's because you're a shit human. See, we weren't meant to be like friends with everybody. That was my father. That's my dad. You see? And the problem is that there are people out there that like you should love people no matter what. Oh, really? He raped his sister when he was 14 and she was 9 and ran away from home. For all intents and purposes, he groomed my mother. He's also a scab. Do you understand? Not everyone. That's my father. That's not everyone you were meant to be friends with forever. Or have a relationship with forever. You can do some things. You can do some things, and I'll never fucking talk to you again. That's real talk. That's how I feel about Israel. Once you know, once you know what Israel's done, how could you support that? How come there's not a list of hundreds of elected officials that have come out to denounce Israel and the IDF? Because they bought the whole package. In this country, you either love Russia or you love Israel more than the United States. Pick one. And I just happen to think when I watch IDF soldiers shield one of their own while they rape someone, knowing they're being videoed. Know that I can never think of a time when I thought of Israel. Think about that. I can never think of a time where my mind was on Israel, where I was thinking about my Israeli brethren. Let me explain it to you. While I was on active duty in the Marine Corps Infantry in 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines Weapons Company, the most combat deployed unit in Marine Corps history, real war heroes, people that were there for the initial invasion of Iraq, had trained with Israeli special forces and told us, man, them Israelis are crazy as fuck. This was 20 fucking years ago. They were like, they didn't really like outshoot us, but they out violent us. Like there's just some levels to some shit that they're willing to go to that we're not. That we're not. This was Marines, combat veterans, people that had like been in war, had trained with Israeli special forces and were like, nah, fuck that. And one of my buddies told me that IDF and our contractors are buddies. So guys that don't make it, so we'll move on to the news, okay? Move on to the news. But think about this. While I was on active duty, and the guys are telling me like the IDF are fucking crazy, Israeli Special Forces are fucking crazy, and then they're buddy buddy with all our contractor guys. And I'm like, contractors? And I don't know anything about this game. I just got here, right? I was a fucking super green. And they were like, oh, Malat, if you can't hack it in the Marine Corps, a lot of guys just join Triple Canopy or Blackwater or any of these other OGAs. You could even get Lockheed Martin, any of them will hire you. And you're like, okay. And then they'll send you forward somewhere. Like where? Iraq? Oh, they're deploying contractors are getting deployed to Iraq? Yeah. And they don't have rules of engagement like the IDF. You're like, wait, what? So so when I was on SEPs and TAPS is like one of the last classes that you get before you leave. They basically tell you what to do. Here's all the contact numbers that you'll need. Go to school, use your benefits, don't be a fucking idiot, don't make us look bad, right? Well, one of the ads, one of the sets of ads was Blackwater Triple Canopy, and they were like, we have people on base that can recruit, and they could sign you up today. And let me tell you something. You want to talk about money? Uh, $60,000 every 90 days. That's what they were promising for 3 months in Iraq. Hmm? Their recruiting video showed them driving way above the speed limit in a large vehicle, like a Suburban, with a mounted 50 cal in the back of like an expedition, shooting out the fucking back window while they zoom around fucking Iraq. Nope. You could not have noped me the fuck out of that faster. You know why? Because I was in the infantry and I drove a fucking Humvee. And guess what you don't do? You don't shoot a fully automatic 50 caliber fucking machine gun while the vehicle's moving. You fucking idiot. Much less, you don't mount it in the back of a fucking Suburban and drive around Iraq and shoot out the back window. I can promise you, you don't do that. This ain't Grand Theft Auto. So we have something just like the IDF. hmm Contractors, mercs. Yep. All right. The Trump administration formally designates Venezuela's Maduro as a member of a foreign terrorist organization. Okay? The designation of Cartel de las Sols, and the phrase experts say is more a description of allegedly corrupt government officials than an organized crime group. It's kind of like when he talks about Antifa. I want to make sure that we read this out loud so that you understand what breaking the law is. As a foreign terrorist organization, designating Maduro a member of Cartel de las Soles will authorize President Donald Trump to impose fresh sanctions targeting Maduro's assets and infrastructure. It doesn't, however, explicitly authorize the use of lethal force, according to legal experts. So, understand? Administration officials have been making the case that the designation, one of the State Department's most serious counterterrorism tools, will give the U.S. expanded military options for striking inside Venezuela. So I would just ask, what is the difference between explicitly authorizing the use of lethal force and giving the U.S. expanded military options for striking inside Venezuela? Like, what is the difference here? Those seem to be the same thing. Okay? Dozen warships, 15,000 troops in the region. Spain's chief prosecutor quits after a leaked verdict. He leaked confidential information. You definitely don't want to do that. Remember, Donald Trump always chickens out. The Royal Navy has intercepted Russian warships in the English Channel. What's a Russian warship doing in the English Channel? Russian naval activity near British waters has surged 30% over the last 2 years. Reportedly aimed lasers at RAF pilots. Defense Secretary John Healey called the incident reckless and dangerous and warned Vladimir Putin, "We see you, we know what you're doing, we're ready." Uh, the defense secretary said that the purpose of them coming into their waters is to gather intelligence and map their undersea cables. So keep this in mind when the internet goes out. President Volodymyr Zelensky said diplomacy has been reinvigorated after weekend talks in Geneva and stressed that any peace initiative must guarantee Ukraine's sovereignty and security. And again, I want to point out any any peace plan that involves Ukraine giving up land is not okay. Zelensky said they're working on peace proposals. Yeah, and I'm guessing the brilliant Russian legal minds are all dead. They all fell off a balcony. Here's Ali Law, TikTok's director of public policy and government affairs for Northern Europe, sat down with Sky News to talk about what's gone wrong on TikTok. What's gone wrong on TikTok is that, check this out. I am being throttled the fuck out of. I don't ever talk about it because that's not why I started making content. Was to like make money and get likes and clicks and comments and shit. That's not why I'm here. So, I never really like talk about this, but like for me to have like almost 17,000 followers and go through phases where I'll get 60% of my following's views, 10, 12,000 views on a video. To me, that's like, that makes sense. But then I'll get a video taken down, I'll get the volume muted on a video, and then the next like handful of videos get like 100 views. But you look at the content, I'm not repeating myself, so I'm not saying the same thing over and over again. I stay pretty topical. I don't overpost. Right? I'm not like making like 10 pieces a day. That shit. I unfollow somebody fucking faster than when I catch you making like 15 pieces of content in a day. The fuck is wrong with you? Okay. No. 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 So I have had between 16,400 and 16,800 followers on TikTok since TikTok got shut down. Remember when Facebook got involved? My TikTok stopped growing. So keep in mind, I also don't make videos where I'm like, follow, share, subscribe to my Substack, Patreon, give me your money and shit, and never talk about Israel Aaron Parnas. Um, but yeah. Hmm. I don't know how I feel about this. Ukrainian forces hit rare bromine plant and critical power node in Crimea. I don't. I don't really want because that's their land. Wanted everybody. Trump's Ukraine peace plan would grant key Russian demands. Yeah, good morning, everybody. But yeah, no, I mean, we've been at 2,000 on YouTube, 16,000. I can promise you, the people that run those sites don't want to see me grow. And also, they want you to pay and allow ads and shit. And if you're not willing to do that, I'm not a capitalist, and I'm also not willing to pay money for views and clicks and likes. We're at a standoff. We'll win. We'll always win. Hmm. But you can tell that they're throttling the dog shit out of my content. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, they're capitalists. Keep in mind they're not actually doing anything. They're just telling you what's going on. Remember, I started the American Socialist Party. I had no intentions of running for public office, but I'll absolutely start the party that changes the future of this planet. You're goddamn right. Yeah. I like what is her name? Jessica Hinton, the girl that left Midas Touch and said she wanted to talk about impeach, remove type shit, and that's not what Midas Touch wants to do. They're capitulating to the middle. Remember, it's all about money, and that for a lot of these people are just here for money. This is a path for them to make money. If I lose my job here in a couple weeks, I'll try to make money. You know what I mean? But in Canada, they're trying to eliminate advertising on gambling. Uh, I I love being able to talk about this too. Um, I was a sports journalist covering the Indianapolis Colts for Vox Media. So I actually got paid for 6 years. It was fine. It was a job. What the fuck ever. Deadlines are ass. Um, Nothing made me stop wanting to watch football faster than gambling on it and writing about gambling on it. Nothing took the fucking joy out of the game faster than gambling on it and writing about gambling on it. Now, my wife and I are making a little video where I use the spread and my wife uses vibes to pick the winners of each game. It's supposed to be funny. It's like a joke, right? It's like one person doesn't know anything about the game and is purposefully betting the wrong way, and the other one is like a nerd. So I'm all about get gambling out from in front of people's faces. It's everywhere you go, on every app, on every TV channel, every video I watch. Go here, gamble there, right? Um, I imagine it's the same thing as fucking cigarettes, which were being heavily advertised before I was born, right? I really don't want to see. Yeah, and about that centrist shit. Yeah. Capitulating to the middle is what got us Trump. Remember, the important thing to understand about Donald Trump is that he literally was a Democrat for 30 plus years and donated like $35 million to the Democratic Party, including Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton during their runs for public office, their successful runs for public office. Talk about know thy enemy. He was their friend. He was trying to buddy buddy with them. Whether he sucked Bill Clinton's dick or not, look at the photo that appears to pass AI sensors that shows Donald Trump between Bill Clinton's legs. You don't even have to watch Donald Trump suck a dick to be like, hey, any grown ass man that is straight, that puts his hands on another man's knees and kneels between his fucking legs, whether you suck his dick or not. You're their friend. You're their buddy. You don't do that shit to someone you don't like. Come on. Especially with football. Nothing will make me hate it faster than gambling on it. Same thing with basketball. I don't gamble on football and basketball. I just watch. I just watch. I just watch, and I love watching pure players. Guys that you might not see on fucking Sunday, but guys that can fucking ball. So that's why I love college sports, because you get to see there are guys that can really fucking get it that might not make it professionally because mostly because of size, or there's too many people just like that that just really have some panache. Same thing like professionally. I don't I don't even do DFS, daily fantasy. I do season long fantasy, and I don't babysit my roster. That means I don't sit on game day and be like, come on, come on, come on. I don't set it, forget it. Enjoy the games first, right? I don't even check fantasy football to see if I won until tomorrow. In terms of like try to be critical, you know what I'm saying? I might like look at the score. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm all about like young people do not need to think a get rich quick scheme is to bet on sports. I do not want anyone that I care about to fall into that trap. There are far too many people. Cowboys game and Chiefs game was so similar. It's like watching a replay. Yeah, it really was. I hate commercials in general. You pay for services, but now they have commercials too. And they want you to pay more money so that you don't have to watch commercials. But then you just have to watch what's going on in between commercials. Check this out. Canada, as a country, is going to launch a gun buyback program. I'm all about get real dangerous guns off the street. Let's share the show this morning. By the way, have a fantastic Monday. Go kick its ass. Okay. Morning. Have a magnificent Monday. Go kick its ass. Justice's Waiting Room, a daily podcast discussing news and politics, is live. It's alive. Twitch and YouTube. Own line of guns coming out. Great. JWR is the hashtag. Free Palestine. Slava Ukraine. Every day. If you still use Facebook, find me. Oh wow, Facebook's running like shit today. You gotta check this shit out. I'm on Facebook. When I try to create a post, I can't. Just absolutely running like dog shit. Oh, I open a new Facebook tab. It's still loading. Oh yeah, Facebook's on the fritz. We'll get our shit together regarding fundraising coming up. Yeah. India, Brazil, South Africa, all becoming close friends because of this regime. Hey, Agent. Yeah, make sure if you are going to be participating in this blackout, okay? From November 25th, which is tomorrow, through December 2nd, okay? Tuesday to Tuesday. Real talk. I don't work Wednesday, half day on Thursday, probably taking Friday off or the weekend. So I don't work one half the half, like, and I don't work on Tuesday, the second. So one, two, three, four, 4.5 of the next 7 days I don't work. He posted 26 times overnight. He's getting desperate. Hmm. He knows. Don't fear the reaper, right? Appreciate you, Diamond. Donald Trump fears death. Mortgage data breach hits JP Morgan, Citi, and Morgan Stanley after large scale vendor attack. You think you're gonna boycott me? You think you're gonna boycott me? I'm gonna leak your data. International Business Times reporting. Internal contracts, accounting and legal documents, potentially mortgage application details. Citus AMC. Lethal smog is back in the world's most polluted capital. Residents have had enough. This is in New Delhi. Hmm. Yeah, somebody said when you meet the one, it'll have you moving different. Agent, agent. One of my content creators that I like said, when you meet the one, it'll have you moving different, and it showed Donald Trump dressing just like Zohran Mamdani within like a day of meeting him. It's hilarious. Hey, if I didn't have a fucking mortgage. Airlines cancel international flights to Venezuela after U.S. warns of worsening security and military activity. Uh, it's us, negatively impacting their security. Uh, it's us doing the military activity. China's premier pitches to German Chancellor closer collaboration in strategic industries. So don't you think? So here's people always talk about communism, right? What? Let me just say this in plain English so everyone understands it. Why should the head of state go to another head of state and say, you should work with our businesses? Especially talking about rare earth. Don't you think maybe the heads of business should go talk to heads of business and discuss working together? Don't you think that's their job? It's not diplomatic to go to another head of state and say, help us with our rare earth projects. That's capitalist. That's a communist regime, China, right? Promising to spread the wealth. One of the things that I will point out about communism is, as much as we shit on it, at least in China, they've had four major increases to their minimum wage, which makes it about $25, $26 an hour compared to our $7.25. So while communism not great, because again, if you look back over the course of history, how do communist regimes come into power? Mostly through violence and violent military coups. And guess what? Power wrought is not power wrested. Meaning, like, if you take power, you didn't earn it. Can't keep it. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. You have to be selected, chosen. The people have to choose it. Why? Because if they don't, they're just going to kill the socialists again. The Nazis will they'll infiltrate the Socialist Party. They'll take it over. They'll go after the socialists first. Why? Because socialists have friends. Think about a socialist isn't a bigot. They're not a racist or a sexist or a homophobe or a transphobe. They're also pro-union, which means like people that work, they like socialists because like that guy's pro-union. He wants everyone to have um, universal health care, education, income, and housing, and has someone that has to pay for all of that. I would rather not, right? I mean, keep in mind, I receive socialism, okay? I receive it. I have received it. I got it while I was on active duty. And now that I'm a disabled veteran, now that I cannot use my right arm, now that I have documented fucking hearing loss and PTSD because my battle buddy was murdered on active duty, and the Marine Corps and the military's covering it up, I get free health care. I get a veteran's benefit that covers my mortgage by a couple $100. So I actually get the income part too, and I also got the GI Bill. hmm Think about how much less stress I have to carry, but what had to happen to me in order to not have to also carry that stress. And ask yourself, is it fucking worth that? No. No. I couldn't have also paid for it, but it's also not worth it. So don't you think just everyone should fucking have it then? If someone who's received it is like, yeah, if everyone doesn't have this, it's kind of not good. All these motherfuckers are on drugs, bro. Look at Jair Bolsonaro is saying he's fucking hallucinating. What fucking drugs are you on where you are fucking hallucinating shit? Iran is battling a fire in a UNESCO listed forest and has enlisted the help of Turkey. Oh wow. The fire threatens the Hyrcanian forests, which stretch along the southern Caspian Sea coast and date back 50 million years. They are home to 3,200 plant species, a floral biodiversity remarkable at the global level. What? It's like the rainforests are on fire in Iran. Troubled by US Venezuela operation, Europe is limiting its intel sharing. Hey, when your allies are backing out and they're like, no, no, nope, nope, not gonna help you, not gonna help you with this. Human rights fears over Australia's role in F-35 parts after Trump's decision to sell those fighter jets to Saudi Arabia. Oh, it's about that time, isn't it? I can see the comments starting to slow down. It's time to switch to American politics and news. I think the story that I saw yesterday that I was like, well, we got to talk about this. Bob said climate change is a hoax. You know, I got to tell you about a dream. I got to tell you about this dream I had. Okay. So, I'm a video gamer. So most people can talk about movies how I talk about video games. You get it? There are people out there that are like cinephiles, and they can repeat the fucking lines. I have dreams. I have dreams that mirror the games that I play. Um, there's a mission in one of the Mass Effect games that says "Escape Earth," and what's happening is like a major alien invasion. So, giant ships the size of multiple skyscrapers taped together are are making landfall. You can see at the top all their ships in the air shooting your aircraft down, and you get shot at and it blows out the platform that you're on and you fall a great distance, and you're wearing a suit that has a mask so that you can breathe. And when you hit the ground face first, it breaks your mask out. And keep in mind, you're on Earth, so you think that you would just be able to breathe and you'd be fine. But no, when the aliens invaded, they made the atmosphere so much worse so that you can't breathe. What ends up happening in the game is that your father saves your life and he dies instead. And you stumble upon him, and you stumble upon him. He's taken a mortal wound. You take his mask off, you put it on, you survive. He dies. This is how Mass Effect Andromeda goes. Okay? So, dad dies, you survive, and you continue to traverse. And I'm just going to go to the first fucking fight. Okay? So, the first fight in that game is right after you have to stop moving because those large objects that came through your atmosphere that are now plugged into Earth and are like sucking out its fucking resources, and it has changed the atmosphere and it has forced near Earth lightning. And a lot of people have never heard of near Earth lightning. A lot of people are just fucking afraid of aliens, okay? But in this video game, you have to very carefully fucking maneuver through this electrified field and get to the other side. A lot of people are thinking about Tesla right now. I'm not talking about little poles in the ground with wires connecting to them and electricity hitting each. I'm talking about just lightning within like 6 feet of the Earth, like 6 feet and down, just like small lightning strikes. Now, when I saw it in the video game, I didn't think it was real. But you know what I found out? It's real. I don't remember all the violence that happens after that. I can't tell you who or how many. Couldn't tell you anything about it. But all I could think about is you start to see like changes in the Earth's magnetic field, in its in the forces of gravity, uh, how and where lightning develops and strikes start to change with great deals of climate change. And it was like seeing it with your eyeballs, except it was a video game. Couldn't breathe the air. Think about this. Had to wear a special suit to be able to survive the environment. Also, you could run and jump on a spaceship and fly to the next galaxy, which again, we, we can't fly fast enough. But yeah, Doge doesn't exist. With 8 months left on its charter, they bankrupted the country, and then they're gone. From Boston.com, more than 400 trans flags have been removed from Boston Common. Advocates are calling for a hate crime investigation. Remember, day laborers Day labor organizers are protesting Home Depot, pressuring it to scrape ice out of its stores. Looted and scooted. Yep. And then, other than the big story, which was, what did we say the big story yesterday was? Doge doesn't exist. They've been abandoned by Elon Musk. Yesterday, many popular MAGA influencers were outed as being foreign. And I tried to. We talked about this. We've talked about this at length. A social media firm did an audit of all the people you hate the most. MAGA. All of them. From the talking heads to the elected officials. And found that they buy their audience. Just like we were talking about how I'm not here for likes and comments and shares, so I'm not investing in my content. That's stupid. But they do, and they overinvest to the point where 90% of their following are bots. Now you got to understand something. The United States invented social media. It's our shit. All these people all over the world, they're behind us. They didn't have this until like VPNs. So the only people that should be surprised that a lot of the heavy hitting MAGA influencers are either bots or foreign based. Yeah, we knew. We knew that there was heavy Russian and Israeli influence. Did we not talk about this on both sides of the fucking aisle? Probed is such a fucking weird word. I don't understand this Slender Man shit. Motherfuckers are crazy, bro. That's what's really going on. By the way, you want to hear a crazy story? So I've been fat my whole life, right? And I never could just like drop weight. I've always struggled with my weight. Maybe people on the show can relate to this. Okay? When I have talked to people that use regular healthcare, like healthcare they got to pay for, what happens to the people that are overweight? I'll tell you. They don't go to their doctor and get a plan to lose weight. What happens? Ozempic, surgery, right? People fall for these fads. I went to the VA. They Here's how healthcare works. Okay? So that you all understand that I have also received healthcare markedly different than any of you. When I go to the VA and they weigh me and they're like, hey, you're almost 300 pounds, but you're healthy as a fucking ox, they run a blood test and they say, you're consuming in excess of 2 grams of salt a day, keep it under 2 grams. I've lost 20 pounds since that doctor's appointment. I'm gonna keep fucking dumping weight. Salt makes you retain water. What do we tell everyone? I'm basically drink water all day. So if I drink a lot of water and I also eat a lot of salt, I'm going to retain a lot of that. Yeah, I mean, I'm like 6'3", 6'4". Yeah, I suppose there are lefty bots. I don't know about that. And there are way too many. I always think it's fucking hilarious. I did the math. If 90% of the following is fake, there's a 90% chance that if you get in a scuffle with MAGA, it isn't even a real person. Okay? And then all of the heavy hitting MAGA aren't even based in the United States. They're based in like Israel and Russia and shit and China, right? Remember, I made a video a long time ago. Yeah, made a video a long time ago where I said the United States will fall without a shot being fired because of Russian and Chinese disinformation. Hmm. Yeah, and think about this. Regular healthcare, they would never do this. It would take years. How many years would it have taken you to go to your doctor? They run a blood test. They read your blood test and they go, Your salt intake's too high. Lower your salt intake. Your blood pressure is a little high. You're a little overweight, but you eat healthy. Your salt intake's too high. Lower your salt intake. Keep it under 2 grams a day. How many years would it have taken you? There's got to be people that are here that are pissed off right now because they're like, wait a minute. I don't know that they ever ran a blood test and said, here's what's wrong with you and here's how to fix it. Stat. Meaning I didn't have to schedule 17 appointments and see 4 specialists and go to fucking group activity for 3 months before I could just have that doctor sit down, look at a fucking blood test, ask me about my diet, and then say, yeah, are you salting your food? It already has salt in it. You're salting for taste? What the fuck? Salt tastes like shit. Try something else. Here, Mrs. Dash. It's salt free. Food tastes better too. Yeah. That's how healthcare works. Jimmy Cliff died at 81. Jimmy Cliff sang one of my favorite songs. You know why? Because they only get paid if you got something wrong with them. Think about this. If everyone was just healthy, doctors would just sit on their ass all day. If they're not prescribing you a drug or a treatment, they don't get paid other than their like base pay. That ain't how the VA healthcare system works. My doctor's job is to keep me out of his fucking office. Well, I know there's people that are like, wait, who the fuck is Jimmy Cliff? Right? I can see clearly now the rain is gone. Come on now. I can see all obstacles in my way. Yeah, did you hear what she said? Mrs. Dash is what they tell cardiac patients to do. If you're on a computer, control dash. Now the rain is gone. Bright, bright, sunshiny day. Yeah, it's a good video. I like that song. Jimmy Cliff. Donald Glover says he had a stroke. I saw how he was dancing on This Is America. I thought he had a stroke then. Bad joke. Describing his ailment, he'd had a stroke. Share the information on stage. Had a really bad pain in his head in Louisiana. Did the show anyway. Couldn't really see well, so he went to Houston and went to the doctor was like, you had a stroke. They found a hole in his heart. He had to have 2 surgery. They say everybody has 2 lives, and the second life starts when you realize you have one. Wow. Wow. It is true. They say You die and then you begin to live. I can hear my dog snoring today, so that's always good. Germany plans to add hundreds of thousands of soldiers to be Europe's strongest army. Stop me when you've heard this before. Yeah, I love how the dumbass comment is like, goddamn COVID vaccines. Let me explain something to everyone so you understand about drugs. Do you know how good COVID vaccines are? Myrna vaccines fight cancer, dumbasses. That's right. That's right. Getting your COVID shots and boosters can help keep you cancer free too. I said can and help. So I want to make sure we don't piss off our friends that work in healthcare. It's like something trying to get in from outside. The Paralympics they won't ban countries from competing for launching wars after lifting Russia's. Exactly, stupid twats. And then I saw, let's see. Ex University of Virginia student gets 5 life sentences for the deaths of 3 football players. Authorities said Christopher Darnell Jones Jr. opened fire aboard a charter bus as he and other students arrived back on campus after a trip to Washington, D.C. He had been on the football team. He pled guilty. A man got washed out to sea. And this is the Bay Area, by the way. Yeah, but it's like you're punishing people that had nothing to do with that, though. Does that make sense? It's one thing to like punish someone with what the fuck? Shit's all fuzzy. Sorry. Bright light and mainlining Lysol. Oh, and horse dewormer. Who needs vaccines? Yeah, Bob. Duh. I don't know if you can hear that tapping. It's driving me fucking crazy. 1 dead, 8 wounded, 2 shootings in Chicago's downtown Loop District hours after Christmas tree lighting. I'm going to go ahead and guess that the Christmas tree lighting and the shootings were not related. Hey, Stacy, be careful. Yeah, it is awful sad. That was my big fear when I was surfing is you get out there far and you can see the waves forming and coming toward you and like if you're at the break where the wave actually gets high, where you could actually surf that wave, you realize as you're paddling, 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 you see the walls start to come in front of you, you realize like, oh shit, we gotta turn and get up on this board so we can surf this wave. And if you just like miss and you like go over the top of the wave, you gotta wait until the next one. If that wave is forming behind you, you're getting washed out to sea. hmm So I don't even know if that was what happened. But Toronto man leads political honesty petition to hold elected officials accountable. I agree. One of the Angie said that when she's looking at her patient's charts, she clearly works in the medical field, and she sees ivermectin. You will never catch me in a Tractor Supply. Fortunately for me, I was taught to surf on Waikiki Beach by wonderful Hawaiian instructors that could surf better than I sleep, that could stand on a board with you on your board, position your feet, hold you steady, and let you go when you're ready. You know what I mean? And keep in mind, I grew up skateboarding, longboard, riding a skateboard, like going down hill, bombing hills and shit, not doing tricks on like a normal skateboard like Tony Hawk. I grew up playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but I was not like a half pipe park guy. I'll take a longboard to get there and watch and cheer you on. Okay. Oh yeah. Donald Trump's got a new look, and everybody's like, he's copying Zohran Mamdani. Afton Ben running for Congress in deep blue Tennessee. Grocery bills and corporate taxes dominate an upset bid. Afton Ben is trying to flip a seat. Donald Trump won by 22 points in a December 2nd Special Olympics election. Sorry, Special Olympics. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. While dining on pets. Motherfuckers are crazy. Let me tell you a funny story, okay? So, the last time I went into a pet store, okay? This was during COVID, okay? So I go into the pet store to get my dog's dog food, like chow, right? I'm in line to check out, and there's a lady in front of me with a little, one of the little baskets that you carry, full of cat food. Okay, and she looked like she'd made some decisions. Just gonna say it like that. She looked like she'd kind of decided some things. And as she's unloading the little basket of the little, the little circular, comes out like a brick, the little cat foods, she looks over at me and says, "It's cheaper than tuna." And I'm like, "What? What did you say?" And she said, "It's cheaper than tuna by 15 cents a can." And I'm like, "Oh, for your cat?" And she's like, "No, for lunch." And I'm dead ass. She paid like $12 and left. And I just stood there and I was just like, "What the fuck just happened?" And the person like looked at me, because everybody's wearing a mask at that point, and they looked at me and they were like, "Are you really shocked that people are eating cat food?" And I'm like, you know, Actually, no, I'm not. Meth is a fucking crazy drug, right? And we just had a laugh and I got out of there. Yeah, yeah. hmm So if you wonder why people take ivermectin, how the fuck did that get past your, like, brain processing center? Who just tells someone that? Like, she looked back at me like I was judging her. And she was like, cheaper than tuna. And I was just like, and? Whatever's best for your cats, right? And she was like, this is for dinner and lunch. And you're just like, what? And then, like I said, you're surprised people are eating cat food? No, not at all. There aren't labels that say it's not for human consumption. That's also correct. Hard left shooters leading a gun culture revolution. I just want to point out she did not tell me that she had a cat. I hope they make it uncool. I do not want gun culture to win. I want to see gun culture. I want to see guns be uncool. I wish people didn't have to defend themselves. No, I didn't hear about the Campbell CEO. Had a family member take ivermectin, swear it was what caused him to have a stroke. Yeah. The Minecraft block meat. Yeah. Republicans are alarmed over signs of 2026 election wipeout. So hey, I'm letting you all know now. Even the fucking Republicans know that we are headed for fucking uniparty territory. The Republican Party has been delegitimized. Republicans are losing in states they haven't lost in decades. Election wipe out. They're talking about how they're losing everything. A Fox News host says AOC is preparing the most powerful presidential bid since Obama. Donald Trump deployed the National Guard and ICE to San Francisco, and the police are ramping up late night drug raids. Hey, remember this fucking idiot? Kyrsten Sinema? Six Democratic governors have linked arms with the GOP to push fossil fuels. Bernie's too old. Gavin Newsom may have a spine for Trump, but he's not. Oh, you were talking about Kyrsten Sinema, that you hate her. I thought you were talking about hating AOC. I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Bipartisan group of governors led by Oklahoma Republican Kevin Stitt, Pennsylvania Democrat Josh Shapiro, Mike Braun in Indiana, Jeff Landry from Louisiana, Kelly Armstrong, South Dakota, Bill Lee from Tennessee, Spencer Cox from Utah, Mark Gordon from Wyoming, six Democrats. Shapiro plus Jared Polis from Colorado, Ned Lamont from Connecticut, Wes Moore from Maryland, Maura Healey from Massachusetts, and Dan McKee from Rhode Island. The letter essentially argues that all forms of energy are essentially beneficial, that excessive regulation is impeding needed energy infrastructure, that a lack of energy infrastructure is raising utility bills, and that winning the AI race is in the public interest. That's not true. But every one of these assertions is demonstrably false. Let's correct the record one by one. Great article by Truth Out. Yeah, I don't think the American people are going to take kindly to the Democratic Party continuing to do what it wants instead of what the people want. That's one of the things that drove me away from the Democratic Party was I think Bernie should have been the candidate in 2016. Yeah, I think Gavin Newsom would never be the vice president in a million fucking years. So, yeah. Listen to a little bit of Eat the Rich by Aerosmith. Loving an elevator. I don't think Kamala Harris and AOC would run. Michelle Obama said we're not ready for a woman president. I was thinking AOC Zoran. Oh, that crash and burn's coming, kids. I'm trying to remember what they sold, but it already happened. Remember, there's a flood watch for 7.5 million people in northern Texas today. Remember, part of the reason that we talk about the weather every day on this show is be holy shit. When I say holy shit. This is national radar multi-day. Okay. So over the next several days, rain almost nationwide, with the exception of like Denver, or like the northern state line of like California, Nevada, Utah, like the southern half of Wyoming, okay, and Colorado West aren't supposed to get rain over the next several days. Okay, the lighter the green, the lower the amount of precipitation. So obviously, most of the United States going to see lower amounts of precipitation. As those gradients go from like yellow to middle green to dark green, okay, that's a little heavier rain. Okay, into the blues and the purples and the reds. That's an inch to 3 inches of rain over the next couple days in from basically the middle of Texas through western Pennsylvania up into, I mean, fucking Arkansas, northern. Okay, let's start over. From Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, uh, northern Georgia, Tennessee is getting wiped off the fucking map. Uh, Kentucky getting wiped off the fucking map. The southern part of Indiana, Ohio, are just getting threaded with rain. Now, in the northwest part of the country, they are also due an inch plus of rain in the next couple days, and we're talking about uh, West Washington, Northwest Oregon. Okay, so keep your head on a swivel. Okay, not only for rain. So it's not like it's only going to rain over the next couple days. There's going to be snow. There's going to be ice. Keep your head on a swivel. No surprises. Remember, part of the reason that we talk about the weather every day is because a bunch of young people died because the government didn't want to accept weather radars, improved weather. Have a good rest of your day. It's Monday. Go kick its ass. Okay? Yeah, it looks like as far as 2 days, snow in Montana, cold a lot of other places, and then there's a rain in central Texas today. Okay? Rain in Iowa today. Okay? So Tuesday plus, okay, gonna be a wild one moving forward. Might be fine now,